Belshire Vestige.
Welcome to Belshire Vestige. In the bottom right corner of the map, we have the Red Terran hailing from Team Evil Geniuses. He's an IPL 4 champion. Looking to punch his ticket to the round of 8. He is aLive.
And in the top left-hand corner of Belshire Vestige, it is our blue Protoss hero from Team Root. It is Minigun.
Minigun.
Go Minigun. No bias.
He is the only USA player remaining in WCS America. The only other North American is Scarlet. And the only other non-Korean, non-Asian player is the Muslim. We have 2 Chinese players, Maxa and Jim, who will be arriving. I believe Max is already at the house, Andre, so I'm excited for that.
Very cool.
But Jim is still on his way, but they will be playing in the next 2 groups tomorrow and Thursday.
Looking forward to that, as they are superstars. Can't wait to finally meet both of them. But as we have it, this is elimination match point for Minigun. If he loses the next or this game, he will be eliminated out of this group stage, the round of 16. That's his last little bit of hope.
So he has to make something happen.
You know, I really feel like when you invest so much into Colossus, right? You get 5 Colossus. That's a great number, by the way, Ferdinand. The reason why I think that is because for sure you will always get a lot of shots. It takes a while for those Vikings to, one-shot the Colossus, go to the next one, one-shot the Colossus, go to the next one. All that time is where, because your opponent has invested so much into Vikings, your ground force or your medevacs, either of those, are really suffering. So the Colossus is able to do a ton of damage against the much smaller, incomplete army, right? You just don't have that robustness. And just a couple of storms. I'm just saying like 4 storms, maybe even less than that, on top of the Vikings would just eliminate all problems of Minigun.
So you're saying a faster switch into Storms?
Or even just waiting a little bit, and then when you engage, you keep the High Templars in the back, never getting EMP'd, and then you just wait until the Vikings come up, kill the Vikings, and then all of a sudden you have Colossus and Phoenix. You can kill every medevac, you can warp in Zealots, and you have the perfect army composition against your opponent.
We'll see if that Minigun's able to adjust. So far, it seems he's been relatively resilient on how he approaches his build.
He's changed
the
it
only
up
flexibility that I've seen hit from him is earlier Nexus.
Well, he changed up. He won a Zealot this time. Because the last game, the engineering bit.
Right. That's smart. The early Zealot and the Stalker. Just, again, not to be so greedy, but still, at its core, the build still remains the same. He's going to get the Nexus. Momentarily, he'll have enough gas to put the Stargate around here. This is where he normally favors it. And then put the Robo here, and then the Robo Bay up here. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times now, and I feel like Minigun is been tried and true. And Stargate starts. So how does aLive respond here, Greetor?
He's doing what Tasia did. I mean, we can see a very delayed expansion, but he's still getting the factory up, so he's keeping up with tech. He's going to have probably that 7-minute, maybe slightly later, 7-minute, 30-second attack coming in here. And guess what? Minigun's going to spot this out. Now, you said something really, really cool in the break, Fredin, which I love. It was, what if there are Hellions that come in along with the drop? How is Minigun going to deal with that? And the only reasonable thing I could have thought of was good SimCity at your natural. You have good gateway blockage on the right-hand side. You put a planetary nexus, and you're going to reduce the amount of damage, but not really solidify, a 100% stand. I think that's a big problem. I think you mentioned something that's really, really hard to defend against, and we'll see if Minigun actually is able to deal with it.
I think aLive senses it as well, because now that he has his medevac about to come out, and he has the Hellions to control. Now he just generally has a good sense of what his opponent is doing. And he can continue to pressure when the medevac finishes. So I think aLive is in a very nice spot, relatively speaking, to his opponent, unless Minigun can react and defend perfectly. That's always kind of the condition. If Protoss takes no damage from this, then he is miles ahead, right? Your opponent teched, but he wasn't able to do anything with it. You teched safely, and that's that. But that's always a big question mark.
Yeah. And you know, Minigun throws that same element with this Oracle, right? Like he does the same thing. It's like, well, if you defend perfectly, yeah, you're going to be far ahead, but I have a lot of potential over here, and I love this. I love this. Getting the Widow Mine is so important in this matchup and this build. Because guess what? One shot from that Widow Mine, you're dead. And there's already 2 Widow Mines over there. Really nice coverage so far. Oh, look at that. 2 Hellions getting taken out by a Photon Overcharge. Poking in there. Minigun!
I think Minigun knows where it is. Oh, no! That hurts. That hurts so much, Andre. Considering that was his only form of detection as well. Just kidding, he has 2 observers. I was like figuring because last time he didn't have a detection other than his oracles. Yeah. But he has been very diligent about it, so he is adapting slowly. Slowly but surely, Minigun is getting his observers, but still, how's he going to handle the pokes? Because remember, the most important thing, the Mothership Core was forced out with one of the Photon Overcharges already. He can't defend 2 Nexus at the same time with them.
That's right, but he still has another Photon Overcharge to defend the Nexus or the Natural alone, and then with that, he can use all the other units to defend his main, which he is doing right now. Observer is going to spot out and see what's going on. And Widow Mines are still going to make connections. Oh, no!
Oh, man. And now the Marines are going into the Natural, trying to see if they can bait out the Photon Overcharge. Mission accomplished. This Widow Mine also managed to pick off a few of the probes as well. And aLive, that was all he wanted, because now he is powering up. And the best part is, Andre, he was going 3 Command Center.
Yeah. And 10 probe kills already. Minigun has no scouts in. He's played it super defensive because he said, oh, well, all I have to do is defend against this incoming attack. I'm going to commit both my observers to just defending this pretty hard, and then I'll know I have, at least the unit advantage. Well, guess what? He didn't defend against that drop that well. He only killed a single Marine and both the Widow Mines. That's not going to be enough. aLive still has his medevac out on the field. This is such a big problem for Minigun. His whole build was concentrated around defending. He wasn't able to defend. And now, because of that, he's behind in economy.
Yeah, I mean, even adding to that, Andre, he was trying to harass the Oracles, wasn't able to harass. Yeah. So he's 0 for 2 in this early game. And now it he's gonna call an audible, a really quick third base. And he is gonna rush out Colossus, but he's kind of stopped his Phoenix production after just 2. And try to see if he can squeeze this out. aLive is going to poke into this third base. Photon Overcharge is about 10 seconds from completing. The Phoenixes do discover one of the medevacs, which is a very nice win for Chad, but he still has to worry about this force over here at the Natural.
There are no more Photon Overcharges, I think. Let me just check real quick.
There's about 1 left.
Almost 1. Okay. So he will be able to defend a little bit with that, but the drop into the main is going to do damage. I mean, he knows this stuff is coming. It's really unfortunate. Like, aLive is just picking his opponent apart, outclassing Minigun over here. Right into the 12th minute, there's already a gigantic lead out for aLive. Look at that supply cap, 83 to 111, and also the supply cap.
Well, he will be able to pick off this medevac, I believe. So it's a very nice win for Minigun regardless. But, just like you were mentioning, Andre, this lead is really hard for him to overcome. 60 workers to 45, and that's not even accounting for the mules. So that it's just going to be very difficult for Minigun to kind of pull himself into this. But if he can take a few good engagements, you never know, pick off a medevac worth of units, or even this force overall, and then all of a sudden, aLive's aggression opportunities are down.
We're almost looking at an exact mirror of last game, although maybe aLive has an even greater advantage than last game, would you say? Just because with all the probe kills, all the stop mining time that he's been able to commit in the very early stages, you can see such a big disparity in that supply. I think we're going to see aLive just max at 200, get the right composition, and steamroll his opponent.
Well, we'll see what happens, because I think aLive wants to threaten this third, which is a very good move. But doesn't really want to do anything. Meanwhile, Minigun doing a nice job here, cleaning up a lot of fresh mules. This is a huge pickoff. Oh my goodness, so much damage being done. aLive taking time to react because he's also dropping into the main base, trying to pick off what he can. while he's also going to be able to push into the third base. Phoenix does manage to take out the medevac, so eventually the Zealots should be able to clean up. Oracle still doing good damage, 18 kills. If Minigun can somehow stabilize.
Engagement. Oh, it's going to be tough. There are Vikings out there. Phoenixes are not in position, so it lends them to
too
kill
much
the Colossus,
DPS.
and yep, that's it.
GG.